going to start, guys. Welcome to the second ALK Talk for this year. Gina has a birthday that she's hosting for her son Hudson, so she's off today. So everything's on my shoulders and Summer's shoulders. So anyways, first of all, we're recording, as it announced to you probably when you entered into the room. So we're going to only record the white ribbon part of it. We're not going to be recording the breakout rooms. And this is our first time that we're using the breakout room. So if something goes totally wrong, just hold on. I'll move you into your room. I have the ability to do that. So next week, we have a huge week for those who want to participate in some fun or interesting events. Tuesday at 1 Eastern time, we have our second ALK Death Cafe. I know it sounds deathly horrible, but it's not. It's a very interesting arena, a safe, supportive arena for other people who are going through what we are going through. So I encourage you, if you are home, to jump on 1 o'clock on Tuesday. Thursday is our first ever men's group at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Bill will be there with me, right, Bill?
Yes.
Okay, put Bill on the spot there. But Dan Wilson will be hosting that with me. After the white ribbon presentation, you'll be able to pick your TKI room when I open up the breakout rooms. The first thing I want to do, just to make sure I have the right how many rooms, I'm going to launch this poll just so I know how many rooms I need to create. So if you can vote on that. I'll make sure I have the right amount of rooms here. So I'm going to end the poll, which I thought was going to be, can you guys see that? No, can you see that? All right, there you go. Selectinib as usual, 72%, Perenectinib is 8%, Lorlatinib 16%, and then chemotherapy. The one chemotherapy patient that we have here, if you could just stay in the room here, and you and I will talk. So, and then the last thing I have to do is Bill Westlake, our new president, is going to have some announcements. Bill, take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mark. I'm thrilled tonight to hear from Heidi and as well as Pierre. Great advocates and great people too. So very exciting. Just want to provide you a very quick update on ALK-positive Inc. That's our charity. Last ALK Talk, I gave an update about how we are moving forward with a new CEO, as well as a director of research, which is going to kind of take and not only the organization, but the research to new levels. We're moving pretty quickly there. This week, I just want to touch on, we've launched a new feature within fundraising on our donor platform. It's essentially called Fundraiser Pages. And it's a way for people to create their own fundraiser page and even bring on a team. A team is simply a feature that allows, they call it peer-to-peer fundraising, but it's a way to invite people to raise money also on your team's behalf. So it's pretty fantastic. I think there's a link to Facebook that you can do to match it and match it to all your social media as well. So it's very cool. And this is perfect timing for us to launch this feature because, as you know, we have Lung Cancer Awareness Month coming up pretty soon, and we want to be prepared for that. And Lung Cancer Awareness Month has always been the focus in lung cancer as a period of time to raise awareness, raise money, if you will, for an impact. Which just know that that's coming out. We're going to come out with some templates for you to use and to have that lung cancer awareness profile of yourself and all that good stuff. So that's pretty cool coming out. But I do want to say before I hand it over to Summer or any other announcements Mark has planned, that what I love about the White Ribbon Project is that, like I said, traditionally lung cancer has been more or less focused on in the month of November, Lung Cancer Awareness Month. But what they've created organically is every day. You celebrate and you increase awareness about lung cancer every single day. We don't have to wait until November. So thrilled to hear more from you all tonight. And that's my update. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you all so much for coming. Bill, that was a great lead in for us. Just a reminder, this is being recorded, so your beautiful face and your voice can be seen and heard when this is posted on YouTube. We will not be recording the breakout rooms, just this portion right now. So as Bill said, yes, November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month. And in October, ALK-TALK will be getting you set to kick off Lung Cancer Awareness Month. But also we have the White Ribbon Project here, who last year decided that there wasn't enough awareness out there and we need to be celebrating lung cancer or spreading the word on lung cancer every day. So I have had a great experience with the White Ribbon Project and had the opportunity to meet Heidi and Pierre Onda this summer at a White Ribbon Project build. So they will take it away and explain how you can get your hands on your very own white ribbon. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. Do you want us to go ahead and start?
Yes.
All
Take it
right.
away.
All right.
Get
So
the
we're
screen
gonna
to
go
be
ahead
shared.
and start sharing our screen here. We got about a 25-minute presentation, but interrupt us if you have any questions, and we're going to try to leave some time for us to all talk. Can you see our screen?
Can everybody see?
Yes, we sure can.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so thank you all for inviting us this evening and to learn more about our story of the White Ribbon Project. And these photos up here are from the road trip that we just got back from. So we're in front of some cancer centers. We're at community builds. We're in front of cancer centers with the chair of the National Lung Cancer Roundtable, Dr. ALK-9 there. We have a big fan base growing. And the mission of the White Ribbon Project is to promote awareness about lung cancer by changing public perception of the disease. Anyone with lungs can get lung cancer. So just a little bit about us. Pierre and I are high school sweethearts. We were engaged in 1984 and then married in 1986. On the bottom left here is one of the happiest days of my life, 2017 of September. My son Kyle got married. And then a year later, my world was turned upside down, and that of my entire family, when I was diagnosed with stage 3A lung cancer, inoperable, no targetable mutations, and given a very grim prognosis. I had no symptoms, and it was an incidental finding. But thanks to research, I was able to attend my daughter's wedding in the lower right corner here in 2020. So have you ever felt so frustrated that it feels like you're just trying to push an elephant up the stairs? Well, last fall, after speaking with a lot of advocates and working for months and months, trying to engage our cancer centers and find out what they plan to do for November in Lung Cancer Awareness Month, and getting all of us very similar responses, either no response or misleading responses like, hey, yeah, that's great, we'll get back to you, or, you know, the humiliating responses. So I just got so frustrated, and I actually had a breaking point that day.
So that's when she came to me and she asked, Pierre, could you just make me just a big white ribbon so that at least I can hang something on my door, given the fact that no one else was doing it. So this is a picture of the original ribbon, which still hangs on our door. Initially, there was no label. And so I had scribbled in lung cancer awareness on the back, thinking that I'd paint it on. But then my daughter said, look, Dad, you have to have a label. But it was our way to gain a little bit more control over the events of our lives. And most importantly, I think, as you all know, it's important for us to control the message.
Yes, if institutional messaging is going to continue to just show things as hopeless and horrible, we can control the messaging by showing images of hope. So who do we include? We include everyone. It doesn't matter what type of lung cancer you have, whether you have a genetic mutation or not, whether you have a smoking history or not, whether you're a caregiver, whether you're someone who has lost somebody who had, to lung cancer. We include everyone, and we really reach out to the medical community as well. They validate that anyone with lungs can get lung cancer, and we validate their work. Many of them have expressed that they feel stigmatized by their own colleagues because they've gone into thoracic. Look at this one picture on the bottom here. My friend Laverna pointing to the lung cancer awareness ribbon in front of the red door. So Laverna has a smoking history of 50 years, and she ended up with the same diagnosis I had and the same treatment plan. So it really doesn't matter how you got lung cancer. We're just all in this together.
So we say that we're unbranded in the sense that we're not affiliated with any particular cancer center or advocacy group. We're for the moment completely self-funded.
And we are international. So with the help of Jill Hammer Wilson, we have a very strong Canadian presence now. And here we have the Ottawa Senators hockey team, which is equivalent of NFL teams here in the States, embracing the white ribbon, and Dr. Jonathan Spicer, a thoracic surgeon. And we even had the help of another advocate to get one of these ribbons up in the upper right corner to the Philippines. We have a ribbon that got to Niels in the Netherlands, and he had a nice Zoom call with us with a woodworker friend, and we taught them how to make ribbons. And in the upper left corner, you can see they made about 35 ribbons, had an amazing event engaging their cancer centers all over the country. We've had some community builds that took place before Pierre and I hit the road last winter. Florida really had a lot of requests for ribbons, and they stepped up and learned how to make them. And also in the bottom right-hand corner here, Lauren Makos from North Carolina did a community build. And I love that children are involved. Teach them early that anyone with lungs can get lung cancer, and then you don't have to reteach. And we have our own Bill Westlake and his wife Renee, who just so wonderfully hosted a build last spring in Georgia.
We loved it very much. It was an amazing time. What I loved most about it was getting my hands on it, and then seeing everyone else participate. It was a way to engage in something with my fellow advocates and friends and family that I had never done before. It was just a great experience, period, all the way around. Fun too.
Yes, it's okay to have some fun. It is, it is. And then we had an opportunity to present the ribbons to the thoracic oncology team and the cancer center director at the University of Colorado. This is kind of coming full circle for me because what initiated the frustration started at the University of Colorado, and now they're all on board and want to talk about lung cancer, not just in November, but every month of the year. In the upper right-hand corner, you can see Dr. Ross Camage is assigning a ribbon, which will go to a newly diagnosed patient. In the middle there, we have Dr. Christine Lovely with Lauren Makos, who co-hosted a build in Nashville. And on the bottom, we had another build in Georgia hosted by Patty. And what I love about this picture, again, is that we have people, some of them meeting for the first time. I believe Natalie on the far right next to Bill hadn't met anybody yet. And she, does not have a mutation. And Patty doesn't have ALK, she has Ross, but everybody, we all have lung cancer. So we need to stand up and be counted. And here's another wonderful build that took place with some familiar faces, Amy, Dan, and Summer. I think Summer, maybe you met Dan for the first time, and maybe even Amy at this build. And so it's been a great connector. And that's what I love about the ribbon too. It shows people where we are. And so no one ever feels alone. Recently, we got a box of ribbons to Ireland, and this is Dr. Jeruska Naidu, and opening the box in front of us all in real time in front of the tumor board in Ireland. So that was really exciting. Lower left, we have Mass General Thoracic Oncology team, and then upper left, lower right, a joint build between the Lung Cancer Initiative of North Carolina, Duke Cancer Center, and UNC Chapel Hill. And the Canada growth continues to explode, and now we are making labels in French.
So we always say that these ribbons are made with love, but it's a labor of love because, in fact, and Bill can attest, it is work to make these, and particularly to wrap them up and ship them. So as you all know, in the United States, close to 650 people are being diagnosed every day with lung cancer. So there's no way we can get ribbons to everyone who wants them. We can talk a little bit about how to make requests. Heidi will do that at the end, and we're going to do our best to get them because we're not charging for them. But we really are recruiting people who have an interest to learn how to make them and distribute them to your own communities.
So we decided to go on this road trip this summer because we do want to teach people how to make these, and we want to meet all these wonderful people we've been sending the ribbons to. And Pierre recently retired in May, so we had the time. The itinerary was built based on where the interest was in terms of community interest and cancer center interest. And also selfishly, our children all live east of Colorado, and we wanted to see them. We hadn't seen them much during the pandemic. So we were able to make it to 22 cities and 17 states. The early stops on the lower left here, we started in Kansas and had a great time meeting Michelle for the first time, who's been involved with this from about the very first ribbon that was built. And then we made it to Piqua, Iowa here and met Rhonda and Jeff. Rhonda, as you know, is a fierce advocate and is a caregiver and has done so much to help her husband through his cancer journey, but also, the firefighters that she works with, that they are very at risk for lung cancer as well. And now in Piqua, Ohio, firefighters can get low dose CT scans. And then on the bottom, I have my first big hug with Dr. Sharu Agarwal, who is from Penn, and she was one of the first physicians to be excited about the white ribbon and tweet about it, and was very emotional to meet her, because from there it started to grow. And anytime we saw something, noteworthy that we wanted to, Kodak moment with, we were in Nashville and saw this mural and thought, oh my gosh, this is perfect, because it does, testify to, the White Ribbon Project being inclusive of everyone. You belong. We all belong.
This is Dr. Jamie Stutz. He's a PhD researcher at the University of Colorado. He is primarily focused on lung cancer screening, as well as the stigma associated with the disease. And it just goes to show you that these people can become very strong advocates themselves. And he took one of these ribbons and rappelled down one of these buildings, one of the tall buildings in Denver, trying to get us some press for the lung cancer community.
And this was just 2 days ago.
Right. And this is Dr. Michael Gieske. He's a family practitioner out near Louisville, Kentucky. He's the director of one of the most successful lung cancer screening programs in the nation, also a huge advocate of the lung cancer community. He took one of the white ribbons up to the Everest base camp, which I believe is close to 25,000 feet. It's pretty high. Amazing guy. We're going to show now a video, two videos. The first one is going to be at St. Elizabeth Cancer Center, where Dr. Gieske works. And it just goes to show you, if you engage these cancer centers, you can leverage them to get press about lung cancer in the local media and elsewhere.
Most major cancers have a certain color associated with them. Lung cancer has had a little trouble finding what color is associated with it, but white has become the color. Lung cancer kills more patients than breast cancer, colon cancer, and prostate cancer combined, but it doesn't get the same attention.
The White Ribbon Project is about changing the public perception about lung cancer.
Not everybody thinks that they can get lung cancer. I mean, I never smoked a day in my life, and it's not something that I would have ever imagined that I could get.
In October of 2020, I became very frustrated that we really weren't getting any responses from our cancer centers across the country about what they were going to do for Lung Cancer Awareness Month. I asked my husband if he could please make me a big white ribbon made out of wood that I could just put on our front door, and I could scream that I have lung cancer, someone in this house has lung cancer, and I'm not ashamed of this.
She came to me somewhat tearful. The irony is I'm a physician and I couldn't help her, but this gave me some way to help her.
We put a picture of that on a private Facebook page for lung cancer survivors in Colorado. And what I got back was, well, we like what you did. Would your husband make one for us?
Patients see that, advocates see that, they want one, and it's attracting attention to a cancer that's really a silent killer.
St. Elizabeth taking this monumental step to host a ribbon building event in support of the White Ribbon Project and the lung cancer community. It's transformative. To have a hospital system stand up with you, the medical community, it validates the importance of progress for lung cancer.
Getting the support of cancer centers, of clinicians, of researchers, of nurses is going to just do wonders to improve the detection, treatment, and further research for lung cancer.
I want people to know that there is hope. There is hope for long-term survival, even with a late-stage diagnosis. I'm Heidi Onda, and I'm here today because anyone with lungs can get lung cancer.
Most make
The second video concerns a bill that we had in our backyard last spring, which included physicians from Kaiser Permanente as well as UC Health, which are actually competitors, but they got together for this project.
One of the most powerful things that I've experienced, just, having my hand on this original ribbon, and it's an emotional chord that I haven't felt in a long, long time.
I would say today is a moment in history to have a thoracic lung team come to my house and literally roll up their sleeves, make ribbons for survivors and caregivers and other cancer centers across the country, standing up and advocating with survivors, people suffering with lung cancer, to help us spread general awareness that no one deserves lung cancer and anyone with lungs can get lung cancer. You're not alone. There is a huge community here.
Beautiful. Yeah, you guys gotta get right there together.
Well, it feels amazing. I think it's I think like all the medical oncologists in the world, we're a small part of the overall fight against lung cancer, and we do our best. And this will be the first of many ribbons that medical oncologists trace. So it's an honor to be a part of that, and it's exciting where the real work is going to go in and move things forward.
I think it's a ribbon of hope. I think when I saw Heidi, now I think it's been almost 3 years ago, her world was turned upside down. She was totally fit, non-smoker, and diagnosed with a stage 3 locally advanced lung cancer, which can really knock the wind out of someone. And I was with her as her radiation oncologist, and for us, I think the thing that gave us the most hope throughout it was they literally watched her tumor shrink over the course of treatment, which we don't always get to see happen. When Heidi brought these to our department in the spring, I think the patients who had lung cancer in the department took some solace in that. Okay.
I've taken to thinking about where these might go. whether it's to someone who's been recently diagnosed and what it might feel to them, or how it might feel to them to know that other people are thinking about them and supporting them in ways that are really profound. I know Heidi and Pierre have said that, each one of these is made with love, but it just means something to know that this will be in the hands of somebody who is dedicated, part of the lung cancer community, help them feel more engaged and supported and energized to sustain what they're working through. So that's kind of profound feeling to be able to sit here and know that this is going to have an impact.
These are going to go all around the country, and I think hopefully they're going to inspire people and make people pay attention and say, hey, there's stuff going on. And this is a hidden epidemic, so we need to get it out in the open.
For me, it was, as a caretaker, I mean, the irony is, right, I'm a doctor, but I can't do anything for her, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, yeah, I want to make one for you. And it started like that. She started posting some. And then people started to ask for them more and more. And then they would bring them to their doctors. And they said, yeah, sure.
We're all human beings. Cancer is something that afflicts us all. It doesn't know boundaries from patient to doctor to nurses. Any one of us can be affected by it, and all of our families have been once you get to a certain age. And this is a human problem. It's not just a patient versus doctor dichotomy. So yeah, this is about caring for people.
I think it's really inspirational. I mean, it's just very cool to see all these people coming out on such a beautiful day, and so many people here, have been touched by lung cancer in some way. And, the impact and awareness that it's bringing is really inspirational and hopeful.
I'm ecstatic. The whole goal was to try to partner with clinicians and researchers, caregivers, just the diverse community of people that's touched by lung cancer, and do something, make ribbons that we can send off to other cancer centers, other survivors, and other caregivers. And we made, I think, close to 75 ribbons today, cut, painted, sanded, many of them signed by world-renowned clinicians. I think it was a great day.
The White Ribbon Project.
So where are we now? Pierre and I have made 832 ribbons prior to the road trip. And then other people had made 539, and we're in 45 states. You can see the countries that we're in here, 35 in the Netherlands. And then as a result of the road trip, an additional 1,256 ribbons were made, just getting us to right over 3,000 as of last night, actually. Pretty cool. And so we're in 70 cancer centers, 33 of which are NCI designated comprehensive cancer centers, 8 advocacy organizations, 9 industry, including biotech and pharma, and presentations. We were invited to speak at the AACI Hill Day, where we're basically talking about fair funding in front of the NIH and the NCI, and with various health departments. And we've also had various meetings with cancer centers across the country, industry, interviews for cancer media and local media, including podcasts and mainstream articles and newscasts. I want to point out that the IASLC recently put out a language guide to help kind of tone things down in terms of stigmatizing language and not to label people. So whenever I do interview with anyone, I do send them this language guide, which is very simple. It's very easy to see where substitutions could be made. For example, instead of saying non-smoker, you can say someone who didn't have a history of smoking, and it kind of alleviates that stigma.
part of our goal is also to do outreach to primary care physicians. I helped organize a continuing medical education for my own colleagues at my prior institution to try to let them know more about lung cancer screening, and particularly the importance of not ruling out the diagnosis of lung cancer in young people or someone without a history of smoking. And this December, we've been asked to speak in front of about 800 family practitioners in North Carolina. So again, we certainly don't want to give the impression that we're just about making white ribbons and posting uplifting photographs on social media. This is really guerrilla advocacy. We are trying to increase the visibility of lung cancer throughout the larger public sphere. Unfortunately, lung cancer is a large community. We're trying to engage, increase more participation by more advocates. And in the end, I think that helps those of you who want to do fundraising. I think it's easier to fundraise when there's a much broader segment of the population that's aware about the disease and the need to improve treatment options.
Not unlike the breast cancer movement and the HIV/AIDS community, which I worked with in the early 90s. Until people humanized this story for the general population, no one really cared about it. And now it's the highest funded infectious disease by the NIH, projected to have 2,400 deaths this year. So for your consideration to be, to be involved, you can join our community Zoom calls, which are every other Saturday at noon, starting next week. And if you're interested in that, you can email either myself, Pierre, or the White Ribbon Project, so we can get your contact information and make sure you're on that list. One of the mistakes that I think we all made as advocates that I was talking with prior to my meltdown last fall was that we were going direct to marketing and media. And unless those people have direct connections or, experience with lung cancer, they don't really care. But talking to your doctors do care about you. And that's why they are oncologists. And when you let them know that, hey, maybe you could help advocate, and they go to their marketing and media, things get done, and usually pretty quickly. So sometimes sharing some of the things that we shared with you today, the photos and videos, really gets them on board and excited about talking to their cancer center directors and their people in marketing. We can help you organize builds to increase community engagement. Generally, we do a Zoom call with you. Bill can speak to that, as well as Dan, if he's here today. They're very helpful to help you understand the process and so forth. You could help distribute ribbons. After this road trip, we do now have ribbons in 17 states, 22 cities. And when people reach out for a ribbon on our website, which you can go to our website and request one, I try to see if there are ribbons in their area and then try to connect those advocates with the person requesting. We have had some luck with proclamations. We've had some advocates actually reach out to local government to formally declare November as Lung Cancer Awareness Month. And that is going to happen in Iowa in November. We have some with mayors in Florida, and I'm actually presenting one. I don't live in Ohio, I live in Colorado, but the governor is going to get a ribbon from me. Oh, did I miss one here? Go back. No, wrong way, sorry. I apologize. Local businesses have been very receptive to taking ribbons and putting them up. I know we all have big ideas and want to go to big business and get, car dealerships and so forth to go on board and go white in November. But, we should certainly, try to achieve that. But in the short term, going to local businesses, we don't have to go through red tape. Restaurants, beauty salons, nail salons have been very happy to accept the ribbons. We've been able to provide educational materials. If you reach out to your local advocacy organizations or national ones, such as GoTo and Longevity, they're happy to send you those educational brochures that you can leave there. And social media, if you see something on social media, that I post or anyone else posts, feel free to share it. That really helps us try to get this outside of the lung cancer community. I mean, we want it in the community to get people engaged and excited, but we also want our messages to get out to the general population. So these are our social media tags. And then on the bottom, that's our website, and that's where you can request a ribbon. So we'll stop sharing the screen.
We can stop doing that. Then anyone has any questions, you can put it in the chat, or and I saw Dan's here. Sharice was on your website actually, because I saw Sharice. So I don't know if Sharice or Dan, you want to unmute and just go over your experience with how to do it.
Well, actually, good afternoon or good evening, everyone. Actually, this Saturday, Heidi and Pierre and some others, hi Heidi, hi Pierre, they'll be coming down to California, and we will be having our bill. Now, right now, today, and this is with the love and support of my church family, and I'm so excited that they were willing to do this as such a spur of the moment. So today I have the people who work with wood, and they left me their drill saw today. I'm like, okay, all right, thank you. And so, and they also told me where I can go to get wood for the best prices. I think someone said to go to Harbor Freight today. So my husband, who's over here, he's getting ready to go to work in a couple of hours. We're going shopping tomorrow, and we got a list from Heidi. They trained us over some videos. So we did a Zoom meet with them and Chris Draft. And so we feel like we're really, really getting prepared. So some of the videos of how to sand and how to cut out the different parts of the ribbon, they are so good. They sent a tutorial of how to do each one of those sections, how to cut the leg of the ribbon out. So we have that, and I forward them to someone who's pretty much an engineer in our church. And so I sung today. So if I sound raspy right now, they had me rocking out with 2 rock songs today, gospel rock songs. So I'm feeling pretty raspy. But anyways, but I'll be ready for everyone Saturday. So we're going to have the snacks, and oh my gosh, the favorite part of this, saw some teenagers today, and this is how this all started around their schedule and agenda. They love me so much that they just wanted to just do something to show their love and support as I fight my cancer battle. It's been 7.5 years, and still that pull of the youth. I don't want to cry right now, but they love this Poppy, and they can't wait to come out with their parents. And so we built the schedule around them, and they're going to be there with their moms and dads and their t-shirts, and they're ready to, they're going to paint and do some of that, the assembly line part, paint and sign the back of the cards, or what do you call it? The back of, not the cards. Y'all excuse me, chemo brain.
How many ribbons are you building, Sharice?
We're targeting almost a little over 50, because there's a couple of other, of us who's coming out, Colleen, Ron, I believe, and they want to build some too and take and disperse. I want to build some. Guess for who? Okay, I'm glad you asked.
You're gonna send one to me?
Not you, but I am going to New York City to receive the Face of Hope Award.
Oh wow!
And while I am there, thank you. I am going to try my best. Keep your fingers crossed, everyone. I'm gonna try my best to pack at least 16 of them in my suitcase. We're flying a red-eye flight to New York City for that the celebration of hope for lung cancer award. So I want to take those with me, give them to the doctors and people that are there that night who are representing cancer centers or whatever it may be. That's the hope.
I have a question. That's awesome. I have a question for Pierre and Heidi. What is an average build of ribbons? roughly? And how do we guerrilla warfare into our hospitals to give them to our physicians or staff?
I'll talk first to answer your first question. We've had some builds where people have made as few as 8. It was for them, and others where I think it was close to 140. That one
Yes,
in
158 was
158
Iowa.
in Iowa. But they recruited the entire town. So it's really, for us, it's not about the number of ribbons built. It's really about the experience and getting people to understand that this is something anyone can do, really. And I'll let you speak to getting them into your cancer
so
center.
trying to get cancer centers to get engaged. These videos have been pretty good at convincing them. They see their colleagues and they're like, oh my gosh, there's Ross Kamich cutting ribbons. There he is saying the truth that this has been a hidden epidemic. Why aren't we doing anything? So usually, a conversation with your doctor, that's the first thing. So that's someone you already have a relationship with, and then they can start to help you, or they facilitate the right administrators that need to get involved in this. But the doctors like to be armed with the photos, with the videos. And we do have some news stories that have come out about us that kind of explain, how could two people, I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm a health educator and a fitness trainer and trained in prevention and primary care doc. How could we not know that I could be at risk for lung cancer? And if we didn't know, why should we expect anyone else to know? So that kind of took the sting out of being defensive when people would ask me.
The other opportunity is, which we leverage for my institution, is frequently they'll do something for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, right, which is in October. And so we'll send them some love. Says, hey, great story that we saw on breast cancer. What are you doing for Lung Cancer Awareness Month? Because did you know? And we follow up. Same thing. Sometimes we haven't had successes with the news stories that come out, but that's something to just email them. Just saw a great story on ovarian cancer. Hey, how about a spot on lung cancer? So
yeah, I actually, and when I talk about social media, I encourage everybody to open a Twitter account, right, Shirese? You and I were both really hesitant about doing this last fall. Well, the medical community, the science community, the researchers, they're on there. And it's like, they're on there so much, all day. How are they doing any other work? And that's how we were finding people. It was just amazing. And then they were like, and how I met Dr. Agarwal was she had made a comment about, I guess, a research study about stigma and how things haven't really changed in 10 years. And she's like, we're spinning our wheels for 10 years. And then I just inboxed her and I said, have you heard about the White Ribbon Project? And she goes, well, what's that? And we exchanged emails, and then boom, I had ribbons sent to her. And before we knew it, it was exploding on Twitter.
And, speaking of Twitter real quick, Chris had communicated with me and another doctor, and I didn't realize it because, like Heidi said, she and I were learning Twitter together one night. And one of the doctors asked me a question. I'm like, oh my God, he's inboxing me or in Twitter. What do I do? So I responded. But that's how I think Chris Draft is also helping with this community build, in that he will touch base with a few doctors as I continue to get comfortable more and more using Twitter and communicating with other oncologists.
Well, it's unbelievable. And I really appreciate Pierre and Heidi coming in, making the presentation. I know Sharice has done it. Dan Wilson, I know, has done it. Summer's been involved, Bill Westlake. And during your presentation, I saw other members of our ALK-positive who've participated. And with Lung Cancer Awareness Month coming up in November, it would be a great opportunity for the people around you. We have the Z maps you can check out, and other members, pull them together, meet each other, and build some ribbons. So the best place to get a hold of you was through your website, Heidi and Pierre?
Yeah, you can email us on that website, or I don't know if you saw our personal email addresses on the slides, but I'll write mine here. And you can email me, and I will help get you in the loop, whether it's wanting to, try to engage your cancer center with those links, I'll send them to you. Or if you actually are considering doing a build, we can have a Zoom call and, we go over everything from safety gear to equipment to instructional.
Great.
Heidi, I have a quick question. Hey, Mark, it's Julie from Ohio.
Go ahead.
Hey, Heidi, you mentioned coming to Ohio and talking with Governor DeWine. Do you know when that will be?
Yeah, so I've been invited to the Breath of Hope Gala, which is scheduled for October 29th, and that's when we'll be there in Columbus.
Okay, I'm the one that got my white ribbon from your daughter.
Yes,
in
yes.
Columbus. Yes.
Yes.
So
yes.
is anyone invited? Can I come down?
I don't know much about it. I've just seen the agenda that Dr. Carbone sent to me, and I was kind of surprised to see the governor on there and that we're like talking together. And so I wrote back to, Dr. Carbone, do you think it would be appropriate for me to big ribbons and, get one to the governor? He goes, absolutely. That's what we're going to do. So I need to find out more about the actual event. And most likely Pierre and I will fly out a couple of days before that as well, because my daughter is in there, is
right
on a visit. So we'll keep you in the loop. And yeah, it's just amazing what's happening.
I know. I'd love to be a part of it if I could.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll keep you
Thank
posted.
you.
Great. All right. Thank you again. This will be an adventure, and that is I'm going to open up our breakout rooms, and you should have the ability to jump into a room of your choice. So I'm going to do that right now.
But if you'd first like to thank Pierre and Heidi for coming, and thank them on your way out to your breakout room.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
so
Thanks,
much.
Heidi. Thanks, Pierre.
Bye.